Winter meetings expected to bring a flurry of activity, with the Nationals in the mix. For the second time in a month, the baseball industry's focus will shift to Mickey Mouse's backyard, to the grandiose Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin Resort outside Orlando, where anybody who's anybody in baseball will descend for the sport's annual winter meetings over the next 5 days. The convention comes on the heels of the busiest 2 days of Major League Baseball's offseason, a 48-hour span in which the two biggest prizes, Japanese two-way star Shohei Ohtani and reigning National League MVP Giancarlo Stanton, settled on teams few expected. The Washington Nationals weren't in contention for either player, but the decisions are expected to activate a swell of activity that will sweep the league, Nationals included. The Nationals' offseason began with a managerial and nearly complete coaching staff change after another disappointing National League Division Series exit. It's been comatose since. The GM meetings in mid-November came and went without an addition to the roster. Their only recent activity was signing right-hander David Goforth to a minor league deal on Saturday with an invitation to spring training. The stove was turned up ever so slightly. The most important off-season in Nationals history is a year away, but General Manager Mike Rizzo and his front office, as always, are quietly doing their due diligence to supplement one of baseball's strongest rosters, in what could be Bryce Harper's final year on the team. They need right-handed relievers and to assemble a bench. They have a vacancy in their starting rotation they could fill with an acquisition and an opportunity to upgrade at catcher if they're fine with paying Matt Wieters $10.5 million to be a backup. There are obvious possibilities, both in free agency and on the trade market, but the Nationals don't always do the obvious. Last year, the team made the short drive to the winter meetings outside Washington as the subject of intense speculation over possibly acquiring Pittsburgh Pirates outfielder Andrew McCutchen. Instead, they nearly acquired ace left-hander Chris Sale before the Chicago White Sox traded them ad Meaton in exchange for 3 pitching prospects. This year, the list of free agent right-handed relievers includes Wade Davis, Trevor Rosenthal, Pat Neshek, Addison Reed, Brian Shaw, Juan Nicasio and Greg Holland, whom the Nationals showed a strong interest in a year ago before whiffing on every closer on the market. Potential trade options include the Tampa Bay Rays' Alex Colom and the Kansas City Royals' Kelvin Herrera. At catcher, Jonathan Lucroy and Alex Avila are seeking new employers, while the Miami Marlins' JT Realmuto and the Los Angeles Dodgers' Yasmani Grandal could potentially be head via trade. As for the rotation, Rizzo is on the record stating he is seeking depth, but he doesn't have a history of going after middling starters for depth's sake. He goes big. The Nationals have gone after Sale and Max Scherzer and Doug Fister at their peaks when starting pitching was their strength the previous season. Will they do it again this offseason? If they do, Jake Arrieta, a Scott Boras client, is a free agent. Or they could perhaps swing a trade with the Pittsburgh Pirates for Jarrett Cole, another Boras client. The Nationals won't check every box over the next 5 days. They don't have to. 3 off-seasons ago, they committed $210 million to Scherzer in January. 2 Decembers ago, they signed Daniel Murphy on Christmas Eve. Last year, they added Wieters, Adam Lind and Joe Blanton after reporting for spring training. There's time for Rizzo to assemble a roster he believes can win 90 games, which he insists is his goal each winter. He has, in reality, until the waiver trade deadline at the end of August to come up with a group that will finally win 3 out of 5 games in the postseason. But the winter meetings always spark action. Proximity leads to conversations and conversations produce agreements. A flurry is expected and the Nationals, though a year away from occupying the epicenter, will partake, perhaps with something up their sleeves. Read more. Giancarlo Stanton is a Yankee. Where does that leave Bryce Harper and the Nationals? Winter Meetings Mailbag, with your Bryce Harper. And more burning questions from readers. With Giancarlo Stanton trade, Yankees have all but stumbled into a historic power lineup. Where does A.J. Cole fit in the Nationals' plans? As relievers begin to move, history suggests the Nationals should